What's good, YouTube? Nappy here, back again, once again. And today, people, it's Thursday, so you know that means we're on the Pokemon Top 5 all lined up and ready to go for you. Now, last week we had the choice between either Rock type or Ground type for this week's Top 5, and happily enough for me, Ground type has won. I personally prefer Ground type over Rock, even though they are both very similar types. I just prefer Ground over Rock for a multitude of reasons, and I'm sure you guys will find out later on in the video. Now, Ground type actually beat out Rock type by about double, so I guess you could say it was a landslide. Get it? Anyways, this top 5, as well as any top 5 that I do, is 100% opinionated, meaning that if you don't agree with it, then by all means leave your own top 5 in the comment section below. Now, I chose not to use any legends on my top 5s, but that does not mean that you can't either. If your top 5 requires the use of legends, then by all means go right ahead. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this week's top 5 ground type Pokemon. Starting off the countdown this week, I'm afraid is going to be a major upset for a lot of people. In the number 5 slot this week, we have the... people hate it when I say this too, but we have the one and only Dugtrio. I can tell you right now, Garchomp is not going to be on this week's top 5. I feel like I don't need to include him because you guys are already going to include him a lot. And I feel like he's just going to be overused a lot. But either way, Dugtrio is in the number 5 slot today. I mean, he's just original. He's OG. You've heard me say that before plenty of times. He is one of the original ground types. You know, he's who they placed in the game to help you beat the first electric gym. Or at least Diglett, you know. Dugtrio, in my opinion, even though he may not have the most original design, still, you know, you just have that kind of just that nostalgic feeling when you look at him. And it's just like, you know what, Dugtrio, you ain't that bad. You know what I mean? You ain't that bad. And to be honest with you, he's not that bad of a Pokemon either. So that's why he's number 5 in this week's top 5 ground type Pokemon. Claiming the number 4 slot in this week's top 5, we have the second gen Donphan. I feel like Donphan is one of, he's another one of those forgotten Pokemon that a lot of people don't quite remember all the time. Maybe it's because you get Phanpy so late in the game. But either way, Donphan makes our list this time. Personally, my favorite animal, this is a little insight to pound-ass Nappy here, my favorite animal is the elephant. So Donphan will always have a little special place in my heart, even though he's not everything that I expected them to be when they made an elephant Pokemon in Pokemon. An elephant Pokemon in Pokemon. Damn, say that 5 times fast. But either way, he's not exactly what I envisioned them to be when they made an elephant Pokemon, but still, either way, he's dope as fuck. I love him. He's just again, like Dugtrio, he has that nostalgic feeling to him. And it kind of hurts me a little bit that he's forgotten as much as he is. But I hope to see him on a couple of your guys' top 5s as well. But either way, Donphan is the number 4 in our top 5 ground type Pokemon. Skipping ahead a few generations, we have the tank of a Pokemon, Hippowdon. Straight out of 4th gen, he's another uniquely typed Pokemon based upon what he is. I mean, he's a hippo. Did you imagine ever seeing a hippo like in the desert? Like, if anything, I expect a hippo to be like maybe water or grass type. Or they can make like this super badass hippo and make him like water dark. But having a ground type hippo, that's a really unique typed Pokemon. And I think his design overall is just insane with the sand pouring out of his back and all that shit. He's got the ability Sandstream, which of course stirs up the Sandstorm in battle. That's always a plus. I've seen plenty of Sandstorm victory battles in my day, and I'll tell you right now, Hippowdon is clutch in certain situations. Either way, the dude is a straight monster. People hate when I say that too. Monster. But you know what? Hippowdon's a straight monster, and he deserves to be number 3 on this week's top 5 ground type Pokemon. In the number 2 slot this week, let's skip ahead to 5th gen. Skip ahead, Nappy. We just came from 4th. What the fuck are you talking about? But either way, from 5th gen this week, in the number 2 slot, we have Excadrill. Now, people like to say that I like to hate on 5th gen, and I will admit, it is probably my least favorite generation of Pokemon. But there is still a decent amount of Pokemon from 5th gen that I really like, Excadrill being one of them. Now, when I did my black and white cooperative Let's Play with Cuddle of Death, aka Kristen, a lot of you guys know her, you know, I really wanted to get an Excadrill on my team. I thought Drillbur looked fucking sick, and when I saw what he evolved into, I instantly wanted to add him to my team. Unfortunately, that didn't really play out for me like that, but Excadrill, just everything that I've seen from this dude is just straight amazing. If I ever do a 5th gen Let's Play again, Excadrill is definitely getting a spot on my team, and I don't know. I'm at a loss of words when it comes to this guy. I was about to say he's a monster again, but I mean, y'all hate it when I say that. But anyway, he is number 2 in our top 5 countdown this week. Unfortunately for some of you guys, we are going to be now exiting 5th gen and going all the way back to 1st gen for our number 1 spot this week on the countdown. It belongs to the OG ground type, Rhydon. Now, I am a Gen 1er. I hate that term, but I have been playing Pokemon since Pokemon Yellow first came out, Red and Blue, all that shit. And Rhydon to me was always one of those Pokemon that I looked at and I was like, wow. Like just wow. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Rhyperior, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not a huge fan of him. I'm not shitting on him either. But to me, Rhydon is like he's another one of those Pokemon that they just couldn't have made him any better than he already is. And for him to be a ground type, he just personifies what a ground type is. He's big, he's badass, he's mean looking. He's a monster. That's why he's number 1 on this week's top 5 ground type Pokemon. So there you have it, people. That wraps up this week's top 5 ground type Pokemon. If you enjoyed this week's top 5, make sure you smash that like button down below for me. And also make sure you share with us your own top 5 ground type Pokemon as well. Don't just vote for next week's top 5, share with us your top 5 as well. Now for next week's top 5, we have the choice between either rock type once again or, drumroll please, bug type. Now can you guys believe that there are only 5 types left in our top 5 series? We won't be done with top 5 after that, but still, there's only 5 types left. But either way, make sure you vote for which type you'd like to see next week. Smash that like button for me if you did enjoy. And as always, people, thank you so much for all your support throughout the series, and thank you for checking out the video. You know me, YouTube, Nappy192. I'm out.